Hello everyone, Gavin Connects here, and today I'm going to be making some turbo cider. Okay, now to begin with, I'm going to start by making a starter. Okay, basically this is just preparing the yeast, getting it ready for the fermentation of apple juice. Okay, so I have some store-bought apple juice here, nothing fancy, no preservatives, so some good stuff. This particular carton I've kept warm, and basically that's just to make the starter. Okay, now inside this pint glass I have a tablespoon of sugar, just normal granulated sugar. Okay, everything here is perfectly sterile, so now I'll begin. Okay, so I'll begin by putting about half a pint of juice into this pint glass. Okay, nice and easy, no rush. Okay, right, now the reason why I haven't filled that glass is because when the yeast goes in and it activates, it'll start bubbling and it'll produce a foam, and it could burst out of the top. Okay, so now I have some normal sparkling wine yeast. Okay, this is pretty good for making cider. You can pretty much use baker's yeast. But I want a bit of strength to this, okay? So normally like baker's yeast dies off at about 8%. I want to take it over the 10 so that it lasts a little bit longer. Okay, so let's get to work. Sterilized kitchen scissors, okay? So I'll take the top straight off. Again, nothing fancy with this. This has all been sterilized. The packet's also been sterilized, okay? My hands are perfectly sterile. And yeah, basically that's it, straight into the pint glass. Okay, now a nice sterilized spoon. Okay, and yeah, I'm just giving that a little stir. Okay, and I think this juice is about 25 degrees, which is good enough for the yeast. There's plenty of sugar in there. Some people like to put citric acid or a little bit of lemon juice inside. I think there's enough acid and enough nutrient in the apples. There's enough vitamins in the apples, certainly to provide nourishment for the yeast. Okay, so bring that a little bit closer to you. You can probably see that all swirling around. Okay, now what I'm going to do, and I've already prepared this, I've made a little tin foil hat. Okay. Now basically what I did was I tore a square of the roll of tin foil and I put it around the pint glass to make the shape, and now I have a perfectly fitting hat. Yeah? Now, okay, so I'm going to leave that for about an hour, and hopefully when we come back we should see some foam. Okay, so see you in a few moments. Here we go, the yeast starter should be ready now. Okay, as you can see there's a nice little foamy head on that. Okay, I'll try to zoom in slowly, and you can see that there's still activity in there, and that's exactly what we want. Yeah, there's some nice foam there, and that's more or less ready to use now. Okay, so let's proceed. Everyone, here I have my fermenting vessel. Okay, this all is basically an empty 5-litre water jug, perfectly sterilized. Okay, I have used it before, but it's been sterilized, washed out and everything. And a cap. Okay, I'm not going to be using an airlock, and I'll explain why. Okay, so I've measured out 350 grams of sugar. Okay, this will provide a little extra alcohol. I have fully sterilized funnel. Okay, just to get everything inside without making a mess. Okay, and as you saw earlier on, I have the yeast starter. Okay, good. And here I have 4 litres of apple juice. Okay, minus the half a pint of apple juice I use for the yeast starter. Okay, good. Let's crack on. Okay, so first of all, I'll put the dry ingredient in first, which of course is the sugar. The reason why I'm doing this now is so that the sugar doesn't get stuck in the funnel. Okay, so I'll put this lot in first. Okay, you don't really have to be gentle doing this. Okay, so that's all in now. Okay, I'll give it a little shake to even out a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in the first 2 litres. Okay, and there's no rush doing this, okay, you can do it at your own speed. That going in, and hopefully I don't make a mess. Okay, so remember, everything here has been sterilised. Everything's nice and clean. We don't want any nasty bacteria getting in. Okay, so that's the first litre in. Try and get the last couple of drops out of the carton. Let's not be wasteful. Okay, so put the next one in. Okay, and this apple juice has been left out in, it's winter here, so the heating's on and the rooms are nice and warm. We're in the kitchen, which is always nice and warm. Okay, don't use chilled apple juice because, yeah, you know, it'll probably kill the yeast off. Okay, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, so what have we got here? That's an empty one. That's an empty one. Okay, now before I pour the rest of the apple juice in, I'm now going to put in the yeast starter. Okay, now the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to be able to rinse the glass out. Okay, so there'll be yeast and foam stuck on the sides. I want to get rid of all that. I want it all to go into the fermenting vessel. Okay, so I'm just pouring this in now, and as you can probably see, there's some foam and stuff stuck around the edge of the glass. Okay, so I want to wash that out now. So I'll just move this out of the way. So yeah, this apple juice is warm, and you can really smell it as well, you know? There's a nice fragrant smell to it. And this is just store-bought apple juice, it's nothing fancy. I think in the UK it costs about 60p a litre. Here in Germany this I think was 79 cents, so it's about the same price. Okay, so now this is all going in. So if I just stand up for a moment. Okay, so I spilled a little bit there. It is important to try to be a little bit clean and tidy when you're doing this. Okay, so let's try and get the last bits out of this glass. I don't really like pouring out of a pint glass because it is a little awkward. But I would like to get the remaining yeast out of this glass. Okay, so okay, and that's it now. So I'll clean this here. I haven't actually wasted that much, just a few drips. Okay, so I'll put all of these things together now. So that's empty too, more or less. Okay, and it is important to leave a headspace. That's why I'm only putting 4 litres in here. You can top it up then with some water later on. Okay, but it's important to leave a headspace because if you have good fermentation, the yeast will, or the liquid rather, will expand and you could have a blowout. Okay, and that's very, very risky. So, I think that's just about it. There's nothing left. Okay, good. So a little bit disorganized here. Right, so Now, here's where you need to use a little bit of force. Okay, put the cap on tightly at this point. Now we're going to give it, to begin with, a little shake, a little up and down movement. With the sugar at the bottom. And then we can start being a bit more vigorous with it, okay? Be careful that you don't twist the cap at this point because it will all come out. Okay, this will also aerate the liquid, which is really good for the yeast. Okay, now you may ask, no airlock. Well, why not? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. You don't really need an airlock. Because I've done this many times before, I know to leave this for about 2 weeks, and you know, it will be the perfect strength and it will be fully fermented. Okay, if this is your first time, instead of using an airlock, the best thing you can do is actually take a condom, and you put a condom over the top, and while the fermentation is taking place, the condom will expand, it will fill with carbon dioxide, and then when it falls flat, fermentation is complete. Now I don't need to do that, as I said, I know how long this is going to take. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the top on, but not very tightly, very loosely. So it's screwed on, but it's not completely tight, okay? So basically any carbon dioxide can escape, but no bacteria or anything can get in. Okay, good, so that's just about it for now. We'll come back in about 2 weeks and yeah, we'll see how it tastes. Okay, so ciao for now.